I realize that most quilts I get to hang around with a little bit longer. I might see them in shows. This one, though, being sold, I'm not going to be able to hang around with it very much. So, and I did want to try and explain what was going on with some of it. The full photos will be in the blog. So what I did originally was I researched each of the Supreme Court justices, and I kind of came up with some things that they were known for, like Sotomayor's, Puerto Rican, etc. I'll go through all of that in a second. And then I looked at their voting record on some major issues. So one of them was climate change. So that's what this represents. And one was reproductive rights. So that's a pregnancy test. A lot of people think it's a COVID test. And I think I put COVID in this quilt. I might have left it out. I mean, you know, it's not that we're past it. These are also reproductive rights. So the abortion rights with the coat hanger. And then I have this earth goddess that's in actual colors of the earth. That's kind of got her arms over the entire piece, and then her uterus is sitting right on top of the Supreme Court building that says America, and it actually found American flag fabric. That was pretty amazing. In my stash. I did not shop. And we have Ruth Bader Ginsburg here, who died before I was making this, and she's holding a tattered American flag, and I feel like it's tattered because, you know, our Supreme Court doesn't seem to be doing what it should be doing at the moment. This is like DACA rights, diplomas for people who have moved here, immigrants who have moved here, who have gone through the whole school system. I'm looking at some of my students who weren't born here, but have been here almost their entire lives and still are not legal. But they're in school and they can contribute to our community and to taxes and things like that if you're going to go all Republican on me. And I feel like they should be given that chance to stay here. And so people of color, and it's easy as a white person to get that if you have money. Of course, money is going to always be the issue. So there was a DACA thing that came up, and when I come back to the Supreme Court justices, I'll go pull my research. And then LGBTQIA rights being sort of damaged by, as I'm pointing to some of the damagers. And then gun control was the other one that was up there. So that was the first thing that I was doing, is like, what is the earth goddess sort of holding on to up there? And those were the things that I had researched for each of the Supreme Court justices. So I'm going to pull the quilt up a little so we can focus on the justices next. So I am a bullet journal person. I have a journal that I keep on a regular basis, and it's mostly like the week what's happening. But when I'm working on quilts, I do often do research. And so these are the kinds of things I was looking at originally, but I'm not even sure what I mean, I wrote this so long ago. When did I start this quilt? July. I might actually have started the research in June. And so those are some of the things I was looking at. And you can see religion, gun rights, environment, separation of church and state got stuck in there. And then I had all of the justices. And I have to tell you, when I started, it's like I didn't actually know names of all of them. It's not that I'm not paying attention, but I guess I'm not paying as much attention as I could. And so with each of them, I looked at the Roe v. Wade vote, affirmative action, which is the diploma stuff, gun rights. There was a religious one. There was some religion, freedom of religion vote. And then there was obviously an EPA vote as well. And so I just looked and see, I took the X's means they voted against it. And then the rest of them voted for it. And then I took notes on some of them. I had, Clarence Thomas with his lies about money. Alito had some issues. And I have notes somewhere else as well. And as I was drawing, I would go look things up. poor Ketanji Brown. She's got that newbie thing on there. But when I was starting this, she was in fact a new justice, and so I had to kind of look at that. So then what did I actually do? Well, there's Brown Jackson right there, and each one of them has, let's kind of do a pan here, has their name on it. And then I kind of, most of them, what's the best way to say this? You can see all these ones are just kind of in plain black. And I have different fabrics using the blacks, but I kind of ranged between about 4 or 5 of them. And then there were these 3 over here, these 3 women who I felt like were doing a better job of supporting the people than the rest of them. And so they're actually sitting on an umbrella, and there's some stuff going on underneath that you can see here where they're sort of protecting people. And then Roberts is on this sort of slippery slope because occasionally he votes the way that, well, honestly, I would like him to. Whereas these guys are just totally off. And so they're standing on pedestals because they're pretty sure they can do whatever they want. Certainly if you've listened to Alito, he thinks that there is no questioning a Supreme Court justice. So, and then I have my Supreme Court building that's rooted in our society. So Brown Jackson is fairly new, and so I didn't have a whole lot going on with her, but she is protecting people of color here. And what's interesting about Kagan here, she's very pro looking at the Constitution and making sure that we're protecting all the people. But she has too many arms. I'm just going to tell you that. She's got an arm here that's holding that Constitution, and then I had her arm over here. I don't know why I added another one. And then there's another arm that's going down here and holding up the umbrella. So, you know, there's my mistake. It's got 3 arms in it. Sotomayor, very much into equality, justice. Got her Puerto Rican flag there. And, you know, I then rainbow colored them as well. Well, these guys, I just picked the colors that seemed to go best with them. I kind of looked up a little bit, but then on the others, I did it in rainbow order just to mess with them because they seem to be so anti LGBTQ rights. I figured I could harass them with a rainbow on there. So here's Roberts, and he's the, what do they call it? The big Supreme Court justice. He's the one in charge. So he gets the key, and he's also holding on to the building with his rights, or with his ropes, reins, I guess. And he's on the roller skates because he does sometimes vote a way that makes sense to me, but he's not quite as good as thinking about the people as these 3 are. I know I've got coughing in the background. That's not me. And then for these guys, see all the money coming down? Because there's a lot of money that's sort of attached to these 3. I couldn't trace it with Kavanaugh and Coney Barrett, but with Gorsuch, and I always think of it as Gorsuch, and Alito and Thomas, definitely money is, especially Thomas, there's stuff going on. So he's got some donations to corporations, says corporations first. And Alito's got that fishing trip he went on, and there's more going on here. Also, money, Thomas has more money than he knows what to do with coming at him. And then Kavanaugh with his I like beer. You know, his whole sexual harassment thing is a little disturbing. Honestly, don't think he should be allowed to be in there even just for, honestly, I'm still anti-Thomas, and that was years ago. But it's one of those things where if you're, in his case, a white boy, you get away with a lot. Coney Barrett, the religion disturbs me. I don't feel like it's supporting all rights. Like, she's definitely anti-LGBTQIA. So I've got the arms of the people that need help behind her that aren't necessarily getting it, and that's her religious group there. So we've got like her extreme Catholicism is sort of coloring, I think, what it is that she might be able to do. All right, so I'm going to pause. Actually, first I'm going to come down and look and see. I've got people running behind the Supreme Court there, like those signs you see down here in California to watch out for immigrants running across the road. So there they are running in our Supreme Court building, trying to get away from you guys. So underneath Sotomayor, Kagan, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, I need to iron this before I ship it. I've got this umbrella they're standing on. They're kind of trying to hold it over people. And so some things that they seem to be supporting are obviously people of color. We've got the LGBTQI flag. We've got recycling. We've got reproductive rights. Everybody's got a variety of things going on. We're holding babies, health insurance for all. We've got someone in a wheelchair. They're holding on to a diploma, having those graduation rights. So I was just trying to have like a group of people that were obviously being protected by their justices. And here's the bottom part of my Earth Mother as she continues down towards here into the volcano. And then each of the other ones are standing on a pedestal. I've got Roberts on this slippery slope right here with his roller skates. So this is Gorsuch. And he really does put corporations above people. So I made a pedestal out of people who's kind of standing on the backs of humans here. So that's what's going on there. And then Alito with his fishing trips. And I could be on that plane, you know, I'm not getting money out of it. And then I've got some money here. Again, we're not supposed to question him. So each of these pedestals sort of supposed to represent the background of the person. This is Thomas's, and of course he's had free boat rides, free plane rides. He's got family members into college. And I put 2 slaves under here, and I'm concerned. It's like, you know, white boys, they get what they get, you know. I mean, society is set up for them. And you're hopeful when you see somebody of color become a Supreme Court justice. You're like, okay, they're going to support the rights of the people that really need it, that aren't being supported by all the white boys that are on the court. And I feel like these poor people, his ancestors are still sitting there going, dude, you're still not doing it for us. Like, I don't feel like he's supporting people of color. I don't think that the decisions he's making are supportive of the people that I think probably would like him to maybe do more of that. So that's what that's about. You know, like this is his past and our past. A past some of us would really like to go away, and I feel like that's how he acts. It's like, I'm going to ignore that this happened, and I'm not going to do anything to help my people. Here's Boys Will Be Boys for Kavanaugh with more beer bottles. Somebody objected to this because she raised boys, and she's like, I wish people would stop saying that. And I said, I didn't say it. Somebody said it about him. Like, that's, you know, boys will be boys. He should be able to, you know, sexually harass a woman, and it should be okay. And the thing is, I'm sure that there are people that do that. I know that there are people that do that. I've experienced some of it myself. Well, but maybe they shouldn't be Supreme Court justices. You know, I'm not saying you can't grow up and regret what you did. I didn't really get that from him, that there was any regret. And of course, you know, if he regretted it, he would have to admit to it. If he admitted to it, then, you know, maybe you shouldn't be a Supreme Court justice. And I'm not saying they have to be perfect. Obviously, let's look at some of the ones that are there. But maybe I don't know, as a teacher, I'm expected to be above the law in many ways. And I'm always like, really? We're human. But, you know, I feel like there's some things, if I sexually harass somebody, then I can't be a teacher. You know, there are some things I'm just not allowed to continue to do that job. And I feel like with Kavanaugh, that should have been one of those things. Coney Barrett, again, the religion, and I'm not saying religion is necessarily a bad thing. I'm not a fan, I have to say. There's been too many wars and really bad things decided in the name of religion. However, I know some people who are religious who are good people, and they don't use their religion as an excuse to behave badly. And I'm concerned when somebody who is as religious as Coney Barrett is in a position of legal power, because I don't know that her beliefs aren't coloring her legal decisions. And I don't think they should. Not everybody in the world is a Christian. Certainly not everybody in the world is as extremely Christian as she is. So this is actually from the church that she belongs to. It's their symbol of the people reaching up, you know, and there's the Bible, and we're living out of the Bible. Snakes to me are evil, but they are also sort of, in this case, there's two of them and they're sort of entwined around each other and sort of fighting each other. And I kind of think of them as sort of religious symbols. They filled a space on the right side of, what are the justices good people? Are they snakes? Are they in it for the right reasons? It's hard to know. It's hard to know. So that's the pedestals, and the only ones that got pedestals were the ones on the right, because it's like they feel like they're on a pedestal that nobody can question what they're doing, whereas the ones on the left were doing, I thought, a better job of supporting the people that I feel like they should be representing. All right, so on this is the very bottom underneath the people on the left. I felt like the three justices on the left were trying to make this a better world, so I kind of made a little picture of a better world. And yeah, there's still a rocket taking off, and I kind of think of those as, what do we do to get away from the world that isn't better? My Earth Mother is standing on a volcano because, hey, tectonic plates and, magma are kind of what makes everything move in our world, so it made sense to me. Bottoms of her feet are rocky. So she really is rock, dirt, then grass, then water. And then on the right, I've got the swamp. And I've got the swamp, and it's on fire underneath the pedestals because, that was one of the things that Trump said, was that he was going to drain the swamp. And then, what did that look like? Well, it looked like filling the swamp with more of his things, like Kavanaugh and Coney Barrett. And so I've got the alligators in there, and they're sort of, rolling around looking for something to eat. And then I've got this little swamp thing in there, kind of in the background, because I feel like, I'm still waiting for one of those to come out and bite us in the butt politically. And, odds are, with some of the stuff that's coming up in the Supreme Court, that's going to continue to be a problem for a while. Anyway, that is this quilt, and I will post some pictures as well. But right now, apparently we have a visitor. Hi, kitten. How are you? I'm good. Anyway, and so I'll have all this put together in a post, because I'm not going to see this quilt again, I think, and hopefully it will get shown. But it doesn't belong to me anymore, so that's up to the person who owns it. All right. Thanks very much.